welcome back to Brewmaster Simulator. So I've already tried to record this next part of the tutorial once before, and unfortunately I noticed like 30 minutes in that it wasn't recording. So we're back. Thankfully I found an old file that was right where we had left off after the first video. So we're starting right after we just finished our first beer. And I do want to say that I have messed with the sandbox mode where I can have everything unlocked, or everything is unlocked, and I have access to all of the ingredients and all of the equipment and stuff. So I have messed around with that on my free time, messing around with recipes and stuff. So I have kind of started to figure out this game. However, I want to continue this series in the Brewmaster track because I want to be able to do jobs. Today we're going to be doing our first job or two, which is really exciting. I can't wait to hop in and do that. So let's get started. Pick up the Brewers Quarterly magazine. The Brewers Quarterly can be found near the front door. Greetings, brewer. Do you know what the best thing about brewing beer is? It's beer. People want to drink it. Few folks in the world are more popular than a home brewer. That's true. I tell people all the time that you don't realize you have so many friends until you start making beer and wine. I've sent you a copy of the Brewers Quarterly, a magazine run by the Community Brew Club, including yours truly. Each issue contains a bounty for homebrewers, recipes, articles, a catalog, and, last but not least, jobs! Yay, money! Which brings me back to your popularity. A brewer's services are always in demand, and jobs are a great way to earn an income whilst increasing your brewing mastery. Why not give one a go? Complete a job. Cool. Alright. At the start of each season, ooh, cool, seasonal, you'll find new jobs, recipes, and articles in the Brewers Quarterly. These will be automatically added to your journal and Brewpedia, which will subsequently grow as you progress through the game. Nice. There'll be 2 new jobs every season, each offering rewards such as beer tokens, mastery, and sometimes special items. You're free to complete one, both, or neither. It's up to you. Although for this part of the tutorial, you'll need to complete at least one. Each job comes with its own set of requirements that need to be met by your beer in order to complete the job. They also have an optional bonus requirement that grants extra rewards if met. Track one of the jobs by selecting the Track Job button. Cool. So we have Dark Matter and Sensational Citrus. A small batch size, use the ingredient dark malt extract, an SRM, which is the color scale, is at least 20, which stouts are usually in like the 40s. A local band wished to mark the release of their first record, a space-themed concept album with a beer as dark as the depths of the universe. Quarterly readers are invited to submit an appropriately dusky brew. Jeff's tip: the recipe for American Stout extract is ideal for this job as it uses dark malt extract. And it gives you 1 mastery, 50 beer tokens, and a bonus. Cool. Then there's also Sensational Citrus. Small batch size, contains the flavor note of citrus, and then it needs to be at least 20 IBUs. So like an IPA. The organizers of a local food festival are looking for a special beer to celebrate this year's theme of sensational citrus and welcome submissions from quarterly readers. The recipe for American Pale Ale extract has the required citrus flavor note. Interesting, and they're both straightforward. Well, since it's current... Oh, what's that? Oh, rewards the long neck. Okay. So this gets me tokens, but this gets me the long neck bottle release. That's kind of cool. So because it's currently fall for me and I'm in like a stout headspace, I'm gonna go with stout. So I'm gonna track that job. Nice. Now that you have a job in mind, let's pick a recipe. Select the recipes tab. Recipes. Cool. There'll usually be 2 new recipes in each issue of the Brewers Quarterly, which are automatically added to your collection of recipes in your journal. Each recipe shows that the required equipment and ingredients, the steps involved, and the estimated final stats of the beer. When doing a job, you'll usually want to pin a recipe that matches the job's requirements. For example, if the job requires a certain ingredient, you should find a recipe that contains it. Pinned recipes will appear on the HUD, so you can easily follow the steps whilst brewing. Pin a recipe, change the page to see the second recipe. So we have this extract, or the pale ale. Yeah, okay. It won't let me look at other ones. Cool. So I guess we'll pin this recipe. Nice. Pin recipes like track jobs can be changed at any time. You can do this in the recipe section in the Brewers Quarterly or in your journal. Each issue of the Brewers Quarterly also includes beer-related articles which are automatically added to the Brewpedia. Great for expanding your brewing knowledge. Oh, I love that it teaches you. When you're ready, select the catalog. This is where you can buy the ingredients needed for your pinned recipe. All right, so the first recipe we did in the last episode, they had all the ingredients for us, but this time we have to buy the ingredients. So this is pinned, push F. The catalog is where you buy brewing equipment and ingredients as well as cosmetics to decorate your workshop. More items will unlock as you progress through the game, so it's worth visiting every season. Cool. Yeah, I had a look in the catalog in my sandbox game, and there was like some Christmas decorations, which is really exciting. The pinned recipes tab is a useful way of viewing all the ingredients required for your currently pinned recipe. Here you can see all the equipment and ingredients required for your currently pinned recipe, including those you already own. That's nice. Any that you don't own can be bought immediately or added to your shopping cart. When you've purchased all the required ingredients for your recipe, return to the workshop. It's time to get brewing. Fun! Alright, so I don't have that. Can I add that? Nice. Add to my cart, please. Add to my cart. Thank you. I have the yeast, I think. Does that mean I have it? Yeah. And add to my cart, please. And then go to my cart. Buy all, please. Nice. Cool. And then, yeah, look, on the right there, you can see my pinned list of ingredients, but also my instructions. All right, complete a job. Unpack your purchased items. You can find the delivery box near the front door. Oh, good job, Keelan. Oh, cute. Store all. Nice. Brew a beer that fulfills a job's requirements. Follow the pinned recipe to brew a beer that meets the requirements of one of the jobs. If your brew goes wrong or doesn't match a job, don't worry. You can brew as many beers as you like during a season. Experimenting is a core part of brewing. That's true. I think most people start with extract kits, and I think they're a really good place to start as a base recipe, and then you can add whatever you need later on. Start to experiment with the base malt extract kit and add fruit flavors, or like I've done a beer with pink peppercorns before, so you can just start adding weird stuff as long as you have like a nice base recipe. And yeah, the extract kits are perfect for that. Let's put you in the sink. All right, add 5.5 gallons of water to brew container. This is gonna take a long time. Let me grab the malt extract that's stored in the fridge for whatever reason. What do I need? 6? Yep. Which would be 2 canisters in real life. What is that? 1.8 pounds. Which is a lot. Usually, for dark malts, I usually don't put in a full pound, but I guess for a stout you could. Alright, let's speed up time a little bit. Just so we can... Oop. Okay. Good job, Caitlin. Let me dump some of that out. 5.5. Okay. Oh, man. Close enough. Okay. Now. We got the water. Next. Add malt extract to the brew. Cool. Let's get a good angle. This time. Oh, it's gonna boil over. In real life, this would boil over so fast. If you had all that, like, little to no headspace on the top. Oh man, you'd boil over so fast. We need to get a bigger pot. Alright, we did that. Next. Add the grains, which, again, in real life, I would, first steep the grains at like 150 degrees for like, usually for extracts I do it for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then pull your grains, let them drain, then you take your grain water and start the boil, and then you'd add your extract. Alright, I'm gonna pass the time so we can get up to 212 degrees rather quickly here. What hops do I need? Oh, your journal is where you'll find data. Find all the recipes you've collected and created, as well as available jobs in your current progress in the story. Additional content will unlock as you progress further in the game. As you complete activities such as jobs, you'll gain beer tokens and increase your mastery. Beer tokens can be used to buy new equipment, ingredients, and decorations. Reaching higher mastery levels will unlock new items and content. You can also access the catalog and Brewpedia from the journal. Yeah, I want the recipe, please. Thank you. How much? 0.7 ounces of cluster and 1.76 ounces of ruggle. Which cluster is a real hop name. The other ones are not. The other ones, they changed them, so I don't know if there's like trademark or copyright things on those names or what. Alright, we'll just do 1.8. Cool. Now I love this animation because in real life it does the same thing. It'll start to get really foamy on the top as it reaches boiling. It'll get really foamy on the top. Completely cover the top in like this foam. And then you'll start to see like little bubbles start to bloop, 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 bloop around. And then it just breaks into a full-on rolling boil. And then at that point you want to watch it because as it's starting to do this rolling boil, it also starts all that sugar because this surface area, the tension has been broken. It'll start to boil up and might boil over, which is a mess, especially like if you're in your kitchen here. You don't want to have sticky wort down the side of your stove or on your burner or whatever. But it's just really cool how you can, you're waiting with anticipation for it to get to this boiling point, and you just start to, this beautiful creamy head on the top, and then all of a sudden you see these little bubbles, and then it just explodes into a rolling boil almost out of nowhere. And it smells fantastic because you haven't added the hops yet, which in all honesty can smell a little funky, right? Because they're an herb. But it just smells fantastic because it's grain water, you know, the sweet, malty grain water boiling. And then it just erupts into a boil. and then you're scrambling to turn the heat down so it doesn't boil over. All right, we're at 212. Let's remove our grain bag and toss it. Now let's add our cluster hops. And when we toss in the hops, that's when our hour boil starts, because these are our 60-minute hops. So, and it's perfect because it's 1500. So, no, Caitlin. There you go. We'll be done at 1600, which is good. So that means at 1550, we will add our next hops. I love this feature because standing around waiting is like the worst part. That's why I advocate for having a brew dog, because at least you have someone to talk to, right? All right, we're at 1549. Let's add our last 10-minute hops, which are just for flavor. And then actually we can go into the X-ray view and we can see how we're doing. I think that should have probably been 1.8 ounces of steepable grain, because it should not be 569 SRM. Something went wrong. I thought 1 pound was a little much. And we're done. Let's grab our cluster and our ruggles. Now I've been a little spoiled because in the sandbox mode I have a wort chiller, which I use in real life to help cool down my beer, but unfortunately I don't have that here. So we're just gonna wait until she's cooled down. We just have to let it sit and cool down, which unfortunately in real life when this happens, it's whenever contamination can happen, right? Because when it boils it kills off bacteria, but whenever it's just kind of coming down from boiling, whenever it's getting into under 100, that's when bacteria can land on your beer and cause problems. Got 54 IBUs, which I tell people stouts often have the same IBUs or bittering units as, say, an IPA. It's just we don't perceive it as bitter because the beer itself is so malty that the hops beautifully counteract that maltiness, right? They're doing their job, what they were originally meant to do, which is to calm down that sweetness, to bitter down the sweetness, so you're not just drinking really super sweet malt water, right? So oftentimes, yeah, stouts have the same bitterness as, say, an IPA, but the hops in an IPA are used differently and usually are the star of that beer, right? And they're bringing out the floral and citrus notes in the IPA, whereas the hop in the stout is just to bring down that maltiness, because the maltiness is the star of your stout. And maybe even like the roasty tones, or if you throw a coffee malt or a chocolate in there, that's the star of your stout, not your hop. The hop is just doing its baseline job, which is to bitter out some of that sweet maltiness, because no one wants to drink a super sweet beer. At least I don't. And I mean, I'm a hop head. I love IPAs, right? But I also love stouts. But anyway, so 54 IBUs is like normal for a stout. Can you tell I love beer? Oh, our contamination's going up the longer we let it sit, as I suspected it would. All right, we're down to 74 degrees, which is good enough. And yeah, we ended our boil at 1600. It's now almost 2200 because we've been letting it cool down in the, I was gonna say dry. We're letting it cool down just in the air. And as you can see, our contamination is now at 3.2%. So as we get better and progress and get better equipment, we're going to try and keep that contamination down by using means to chill the beer faster. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and call it there because 75 degrees is perfectly fine, in real life at least, for your yeast not to be killed. All right, let's transfer. Now, I think some people siphon their beer or their wort from their pot into their fermenter, which is valid. You can do that. That just kind of is to cut down on some oxidation. However, the yeast likes oxygen to get a kickstart, so I actually prefer pouring it for that reason, just to get some oxygen in there for the yeast to perform a little bit better. But it's totally personal preference. If you're having oxidation issues, then yeah, cutting out airtime and, you know, pouring it from the pot into the fermenter could probably help eliminate that, but I've never had that issue. My issue is usually because I'm lazy and I leave my beer in the bucket for too long before bottling. All right, let's get the yeast in there, the whole packet. Nice. Let's toss it and then put our lid on there. All right, now we're gonna ferment at 68 degrees for 15 days. So I will see you after we speed up time. Let's see how our beer is. All right. Oh, perfect. 7.32%. 1.017 is the current gravity, which is perfect. Our contamination's now at 11. Yikes. It'll go down once we get better means to like chill our beer. Next is to add 7 ounces. Now, so I've been doing, like I said, I've been working with recipes in the sandbox mode, and I cannot get the carbonation to work. In real life, 5 ounces of corn sugar for 5 gallons would be way too much for bottling. But in this little keg barrel thing, 5 ounces is not enough. So the fact that this says 7 ounces is good. I'm going to keep that in my brain for future reference. For whenever I am going to go back to being in the sandbox mode, because it has been so frustrating not getting the carbonation that I need. Let's open her up. Now in real life, I would transfer this to another bucket and then dose it with I would do the sugar in another bucket, transfer the beer onto it, and then dose it, then bottle it. But this is how we do it here, I guess. Because in reality, which, that's cool, that's exactly what it looks like. But in reality, this would have gunk on the bottom, right? So you don't want to mix the sugar in. So you'd want to get it out of here to begin with. But this is a game and you don't have to worry about that, I guess. But in real life, I would boil my 5 ounces of corn sugar and 2 cups of water for 5 minutes. Boiling is just to dissolve the sugar, but also for sanitization. And then I'd put that in my bottling bucket, the hot sugar water, transfer my beer onto that, and then mix it up and then bottle in a bucket very similar to this with a spigot. So anyway, let's stop teaching and let's get pouring. 7 point, okay, we're gonna, cool, we're gonna have carbonation. All right, I did that. And we're gonna transfer, let me open that. Nice. And I haven't done a dark beer yet, so this is pretty cool. I've had it where I have too much liquid and it's actually overflowed. So I'm glad there's enough there that the containers are bigger than the amount of liquid I have. All right, let me clean this stuff up real quick like I would in real life. Put it away, all the things. And then condition for 21 days. All right, do we have carbonated beer? Yes, our carbonation is 3.42, which might actually be a little bit much for a stout. They're usually probably like in the 2s, but yes! You know what that means? We get to taste and package the beer, which means we're gonna show off the label maker up in here. I'm really excited to show that off. How are we doing? Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Look at the head on that. Creamy head retention. Very dark. 216 SRM. Extremely hazy, yeah. Crisp and clean, dark and roasty, malty and sweet, fruit and spice. Some off. We got smoky, we got hoppy and bitter. I'll have to see how we compare to the original recipe. I didn't even look. Very heavy body, 6.9% contamination. The original gravity 1.077. The final gravity 1.017. Normal 57 IBUs. So it got a little hoppier as it rested. American Strong Ale, American Black Ale, New England IPA, American Stout. Look at that. A recipe match. Let's go. 56%. I don't know how an American Strong Ale would match that. That's interesting. But perfect. My unmatched stats, what do you mean? My original gravity was 1.072. That's lies. I guess because I'm above it? I don't know. Yeah, too dark. My carbonation is too much, like I said, and my body is a little too much. Continue. Some jobs can require you to brew a certain style of beer. To meet that requirement, be sure to select the style here, though it will need to be one of the top 5 styles that best match your beer. Once you're done packaging your beer, you could submit it to a job or return to the workshop. If you choose the latter, the finished conditioning container will be placed in the keg rack or cellar for later use. Yeah, so you can just collect your beers. Alright, it's definitely a stout, obviously. What should we name it? It said it wants to be a dusky brew, and it's space themed, right? The band's doing what? A space themed album? We'll just do Stout Wars because original, you know. We only have one bottle available. Now, the tulip glass. Usually for a stout, we want to do either the pint or, yeah, let's do the stout glass because that looks cool. And then we're going to do are you kidding me? Let's do the label. It's supposed to be spacey. Ooh, that looks cool. Definitely that. Yes. I kind of like it there. Like they're like bubbles. Should we change the color? Ooh, yes. Ooh, I can change the texture. Let's go. Wait a minute. No, I like this one. Because like I said, it reminds me of bubbles. Like spacey bubbles. We gotta change the text banner, right? Like what it is. I wish that were like the first option, right? That one. And then we can change. No, I like where it's positioned. We can make it a little bigger. Yeah. And then, yeah, it can. Should it be like a blue? Yes, it should be a blue. Beer name text. Because I know it's probably driving you all insane. Let's choose. No, I like that. And then what color? Probably like red. Or, I mean, like a white maybe. Can I have a color wheel, please? And then I think everything else looks good. Cool. Submit beer. To submit a beer to a job, it must match the requirements. Once a beer is submitted, it will be lost. What? But you'll get to keep a bottle of it for display. Okay, cool. There are several ways to submit beers to jobs. On the jobs page in your journal, by interacting with the finished conditioning container, and by opening the cellar, where you can also view all your past brews. Yep, I want to submit my beer, please. Completed. Continue. Ah, tutorial complete. Look at all those achievements I just got. Congratulations on completing your first job and finishing the tutorial. What next? That's up to you. You could try out the second job, experiment with other brews, or even decorate your workshop using build mode. When you're ready, head to the front door to advance to the next season and the next stage in the story. Good luck, brewer. Nice! That's awesome! And then we can put our beer on display right here. We need a flashlight, we can't see it. But that's awesome! And then you go through here. Ready? Are you ready for this? Oh, that's Caitlin's creations. And then look at that! You get the whole rundown, the whole shebang right there. Isn't that cool? Awesome! And then I want to look real quick at how close we were to the recipe. Not too bad. I'm very proud of it. I mean, I matched the recipe, so. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I look forward to making more. If you have any, like, suggestions or requests, like if you want to see me play making one of my recipes in the sandbox mode, I'm more than happy to do that. Or I can, like, show off all of the equipment, or do you want me to continue going through the tutorial and the jobs here and we can just unlock the equipment as we go? Let me know. I will most likely continue the tutorial, but if you want to see the equipment in advance, I'm more than happy to do that and show it off. Or if you want to see me fiddle around with my own recipes and show off the process of how I brew in real life, I'd love to do that as well. Just let me know. And if you have any like beer related or brewing questions, feel free to slap them down in the comment section as well. I love talking about beer. It's one of my favorite subjects. And I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.